In the final section of Module 3, we will discuss data. What data do we need? How can we give meaning to the information collected? Which objects are relevant for recording data? In fact, some data may not be suitable for this purpose. The data collected by technological means might be ephemeral. However, they must hold value for a second reading at a different time. The proposed methodological framework provides the process to move from place to space, using participatory tools towards education for sustainable development, also known as ESD. More specifically, we use media to narrate our real experiences. By giving meaning to places and objects, we will achieve understanding of space and compile it with secondary data. There are 4 steps in this process. The first step concerns the analysis of the subject. Before data collection, the group discusses the problem according to their interests. By forming questions, they define the relevant local elements that best correspond to the topic. The second step deals with data obtained through technological means. We will discuss this later. The third step deals with perceptions to align vocabulary and meaning. The final step concerns the narrative, which must consider the semantic continuum from the local to the global system. An example step-by-step guide is provided on the subject of gentrification. As previously discussed, a set of keywords defines the problem. For instance, alternative keywords could be building, people, green areas, and many others that are affected by gentrification. But what is the concrete subject? In fact, this step will assign the relevant elements that will be recorded in the next steps, based on the identified objects and their meaning. Let's talk about objects. Not all images are suitable for our research purpose. Not all photos have a geographic meaning. Of course, the goal is not to become a professional photographer, but to simply remember a few instructions for collecting data according to geographical terms. More specifically, the information contained in an image simulate the corresponding information embedded in a map or a text, and therefore must be approached in similar manner. There is the background that describes the environment and the object recorded that give the meaning in relation with the surrounding. For example, in the top right image, the recorded object shows the changes in land use, which is an empty area representing the progress of its use, while the surrounding buildings demonstrate the relation between other objects. In the bottom right image, the recorded object is an expensive motorcycle, and in contrast, the surrounding area has poor houses. The bottom left image shows a mute place, thus, it is not adapted to our purpose. Data collection, as a proxy, serves to address our perceptions. From the set of keywords, each person in the group chooses one that best matches the images. For example, the keywords business and new business listed in the top right image are selected by 2 people. The bottom right image is selected and referenced by more individuals. In fact, the favorite image is related to both the meaning and the reading level. This approach, using participatory methods, helps to transition from living space to conceived space, excluding perceived space. In other words, by confronting perceptions, space transforms from subjective to objective. The last step helps to transition from a place to a space, giving meaning to the topic discussed at the beginning. Based on the number of keywords in the 3 interrelated topics of ESD, namely, social, economic, and environment, the team focuses the narrative on the corresponding topic. In other words, the assigned object serves as a vehicle to shift from a local object towards a global concept. In sum, the image or any other media works as a framework with a grid. The center composition of the top right image enhances the sense of balance, stability, and stillness. It emphasizes its dominant importance in relation to the surrounding area. The off-center at the bottom right image highlights other elements in action. It creates uncertainty but also a dynamic composition. Other components of the image include the lighting, which highlights emotion and movement, and the angle of view, which enhances the progression of the surroundings. Now you can try to map and narrate. This is the end of Module 3, where we discuss the participatory process and tools addressing the needs of teachers and students before, during and after virtual and real field trips. Thank you very much for your attention.